Hi, horror fans. Welcome to Horror Movies and Beyond. I'm your host, Ivotres Littles. Today, I am joined by the director and co-writer of this intense horror movie, Diabolic. Let's welcome Daniel J. Phillips. Hello.
Thanks for having me.
This film was bloody, creepy, intense, and the drama between the characters, as I said before, was just put the cherry on top. It wasn't just about this cursed witch. It was just so much more. The history and the dynamics of the characters, and then it was just like the atmosphere. It just really brought it to life. What was the inspiration behind creating this story?
After I'd finished my first film, Awoken, I wanted to do a psychological horror film after that. And I had some concepts around a witch and some sort of sequences that I was interested to explore. And then I met Mike Harding through our manager. We've got the same management. And he had this horror script that was about the FLDS. And his wife, Tisha, had actually been in the Mormon church and experienced these things. So they're based on true story, but all of that stuff really happened to Tisha. Not the witch part, obviously. You know, all the other stuff, the excommunication and everything that happened there is really her story. So I was just fascinated by that, and we kind of slammed the ideas together and developed the script over, probably about a year or so, and then that became Diabolic.
Because it felt personal. It felt like, okay, this is a horror movie, but the details was like somebody was there or experienced it. And it turns out to be true for most of it.
A lot of that stuff came from Tisha, and we, Mike and I did a lot of research into the FLDS and how it operates and how things like the baptism for the dead ritual worked, which I didn't know was a real thing. When I first read the script, I was like, oh, this is such a cool thing that Mike's invented for the movie. And then when I looked, I was like, oh shit, this is actually a real thing they do every day. So there's some stuff in there that's kind of stranger than fiction.
One of my favorite scenes, there's a couple, but one of them that really stood out to me is that the up close of the witch. Because a lot of times, you'll see bits and pieces of it in horror, and then if it comes, it's like quick and fast. But when that camera turned to it and you're staring at it for a hot minute, and then it just becomes scarier and creepier because you're waiting for something. Was that intentional to have the camera like we really want to put it on this and really give this dread and this scare atmosphere?
I know the shot you're talking about. We were really lucky with the design of the witch, that we ended up with just absolutely excellent prosthetics, and we spent a lot of time developing the look of LaRue, the witch in the film. Over quite a long time. There were lots of different iterations to get where we ended up. And I think, we reached a point in the film where that sort of happens, where all the kind of mystery and the teasing at it is kind of done now. And really, this is kind of the last opportunity for people to really see what they've been seeing as glimpses of, And I was just really confident in the look of the witch and the prosthetics there to really have it hold on screen for as long as it did. And I think it's this moment where something bad's about to happen. And obviously, it does. I just felt like it was the right choice at that moment to just give the audience that look that they probably wanted to see. The rest of the movie kind of squinting, is something there? Is she there? What does she look like? You only see little glimpses and bits and pieces. And this is the first moment where you really get to see her properly and sort of indulge in the horror a little.
I also like that it touches on morality. The family dynamics of what was happening when Elise was, which is the character in the movie, was with her family, and then she has relations and whatnot, and then like all this bad stuff started happening to the people who hurt her. Oh well, it's like it goes full circle from the beginning where it begins, and then it ends where it began. And I just thought that was just it just made it complete. And you picked the perfect actress.
Elizabeth Cullen is so good in this movie. I'm very, very lucky. Fantastic. She absolutely holds the film together. I think if her performance wasn't as good as it is, the movie wouldn't have worked.
For her to be allowed to just feel the characters and be them, because she didn't just play Elise, it was levels of that. including what happens towards the end.
She had a really tough job because we did shoot everything out of sequence. There'd be stuff where, because she's really playing 3 roles, she's playing herself in the present, herself in the past, and the FLDS scenes, and then sort of what happens to her later. And all of that was shot all over the place. So she would go between all of them all the time, constantly between to, so that was challenging for her and for me to keep her in that kind of space, but she obviously nailed it. And I think, it's really just about her approach to the role and us really talking through things in huge detail to understand both intellectually and emotionally where we are in this moment, what this means, what we're doing here. And she just delivered. And I think even, the voices for all those characters are all different as well. She worked with our dialect coach to get the FLDS accent, which is very unique in itself. Absolutely perfect. And she just did such a great job.
She was playing these multiple characters, but they were elevated every time you see them in the situation, in a new situation they were in. And I love the clues from the beginning. It works through, and then it just ties together why this is happening. So it forces the audience to pay attention, because you're going to need to know why this is happening. It's not just a random thing that's going on.
The sort of where Elise ends up, without spoiling the movie, I guess was a tricky thing to figure out exactly where that would sit. And we did play with a lot of things in post in relation to her voice and things like that, the treatment on the voice. And we actually brought in other actors to revoice it and do all these things. But we actually ended up with Elizabeth's original voice is the performance, because her performance was so good, and it's really her and an entire character that she created. So we enhanced it a little bit, obviously, to give it that sort of otherworldly feel, but it's very much Elizabeth's performance on the day that allowed that to happen and give it the life that it needs. And I think in these types of movies, it can be a bit silly when people are dressed in weird clothes and they've got weird makeup on and they're told to say and do kind of silly things, and the actors really need to give 100% and just trust and commit that it's all going to work. And she really trusted me with that stuff and went there, which was absolutely vital to deliver that performance. So I'm really glad that that's how it worked out. It was great.
You did. It was such a great job. Thank you for doing this film, and people are going to enjoy it. I love the ending. The ending really put like everything together. Her look, when she closed them doors, I was like, yes. So, but it was a great film. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I love to see films from Australia. Like I've interviewed a couple of people that have some Australian horror films. One was called Beaten to Death, and I absolutely loved it. And so when I saw this was from Australia, I was like, I know it's going to be good.
Having me. It's a great question.
Thank you so much. Everybody check this film out in theaters. February 13th. It comes on VOD later, but theaters is where it's at. You need the big screen. You need to feel the emotions, the drama, the blood, everything that happens. It's worth a watch.